everyone. It's your main man, Sports Love. I know today is an important day for a lot of people. Today was Super Bowl 57 between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Before I get into the broadcast regarding the Super Bowl, I ask that you please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell so that way you can be made aware of when I go live or when I have sports action videos. The purpose of this broadcast is to summarize what took place during the Super Bowl, and we'll get into that right now. The score was tied after the first quarter at 7. It was Philadelphia 24, Kansas City 14 at halftime. The first half statistics from the game that took place, the time of possession, Philadelphia had that with 21 minutes and 54 seconds. Kansas City only had the ball for 8 minutes and 6 seconds. In the first half, Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for Philly, was 17 for 22 with 183 yards, one passing touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback for Kansas City, was 8 for 13 for 89 yards and one touchdown. In terms of rushing, Jalen Hurts also was the lead rusher for Philly with 11 carries, 63 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. For Kansas City, Pacheco had 5 carries for 28 yards. In receiving, Travis Kelce for Kansas City had 3 receptions for 60 yards. A.J. Brown for Philadelphia, 3 receptions for 74 yards. In terms of fumbles, Kansas City had 1 fumble. Philadelphia had 2 fumbles. One of those fumbles ended up in a turnover. No interceptions were thrown by either team in the first half of the game. In the first half, Philadelphia had 17 first downs. Kansas City had 6. For the first half, Kansas City, Willie Gay and Justin Reed both had 6 tackles each. For Philadelphia, you had T.J. Edward with 4, Darius Shea, Javon Hargrave, and Marcus Epps with 2 tackles each. Philadelphia, now that we've gone over the first half statistics, I will now go over pretty much the summary of what took place during the game. After I get through the game, I will go through the final stats for the game. Let's see. So Philadelphia scored the first touchdown with 10 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first quarter. Kansas City, with 6 minutes 57 seconds left in the first, tied the score at 7 apiece. Kansas City attempted a field goal, and it doinked off the post, and it was no good from 42 yards. In the second quarter, with 14:51 left in the second quarter, Philadelphia scored again, making the score 14-7. Both teams went up and down the field and had a 3-and-out. But with 9:39 to go in the second quarter, Kansas City scored, and again, the score was tied at 14 apiece. With 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the second quarter, Philadelphia scored a touchdown on some very quick plays and made the score 21-14, Philly over Kansas City. A couple of 3-and-outs between both teams. Philadelphia ends up getting the ball back late, and just as time expired, Philadelphia kicked the field goal from 35 yards, and the field goal was good, so it made the halftime score Philadelphia 24, Kansas City 14. To start the second half, Kansas City had the ball kicked to them by Philadelphia to start the second half. Kansas City drove the football down the field to start the third quarter, and after making plays and first downs with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter, Kansas City was able to score and make it a 3-point game, Philadelphia 24, Kansas City 21. Philadelphia drove ball down the field, making first downs along the way, and with 5:55 left in the third quarter, one play had some controversy regarding whether or not there was a completed pass. Kansas City challenged whether or not it was a catch. The Kansas City coach, Andy Reid, who made that challenge, he lost that challenge and was charged a timeout. Much to the fans' dismay, Kansas City fans were cheering because of the challenge, but then it turned to boos when the challenge was lost. And depending on how one would look at it and stuff, the play could have been ruled either way. Not saying that it was complete or incomplete, but depending on the line of the view of the umpires and refs on the field, it could have actually gone either way with that. Number 4 for Philly kicked the field goal with a minute 45 left to go in the third, and it was 33 yards for a field goal attempt, and the kick ended up being good. So that put Philadelphia up 27 to Kansas City's 21, and that ended up being the end of the score at the end of the third quarter. Kansas City then drove the ball down the field, and with 12 minutes and 4 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Kansas City scored and took the first lead of the game. Kansas City 28, Philadelphia 27. After a 3-and-out by Philadelphia, Kansas City returned the punt all the way down to the Philly 5-yard line. With 9 minutes and 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Kansas City scores again, making the score Kansas City 35, Philadelphia 27. Some people thought that it was a lost cause at that point for Philadelphia, but no, it didn't go that way. Eagles drove the ball down the field. Jalen Hurts took the ball himself for his third rushing touchdown, which tied an NFL Super Bowl record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback during the Super Bowl. And the touchdown was good, and he also scored the 2-point conversion, which made the score tied at 35 with 5:15 left in the fourth quarter. Kansas City then got the ball back, drove the ball down the field, and was taking as much time off the clock as they possibly could. With 8 seconds left, Kansas City kicked the field goal that made the score 38. Kansas City, Philadelphia 35. Philadelphia got the ball back, and on a last-ditch effort by Jalen Hurts to throw a Hail Mary to try to end the game in style, basically the pass went to no one, and it was an incomplete on the field. Time had expired, and the final score in the Super Bowl was Kansas City 38, Philadelphia 35. Now, for the final stats for the Super Bowl, for Philadelphia in passing, Jalen Hurts went 27 for 38 with 304 yards and 1 passing touchdown. For rushing, he led Philadelphia in rushing with 15 carries for 70 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Devontae Smith led with receiving with 7 receptions for 100 yards, and A.J. Brown had 6 receptions for 96 yards. Philadelphia committed 2 fumbles, in which one ended up with lost possession of the football. Avonte Maddox had 7 tackles. Kenneth Gainwell had 1 kick return for 11 yards. There really wasn't much in the way of kick return yards because a lot of the kickoffs went out of bounds for a touchback, which would bring the football back to the 25-yard line. So it's an insignificant stat, but that's pretty much how it ended up being all night. Philadelphia punted the football twice. For Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes was, for passing, 21 for 27 with 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. For rushing, Pacheco had 15 carries for 76 yards. For receiving, Travis Kelce had 6 receptions for 81 yards. Kansas City ended up getting 1 fumble, but they were able to recover their own fumble. Nick Bolton led Kansas City with 9 tackles. The Kansas City team punted the football away twice. Neither team threw interceptions during the game. For first downs, Philadelphia had 25 to Kansas City's 21. For penalties, Philadelphia had 6 penalties for 33 yards. Kansas City had 3 penalties for 14 yards. And your time of possession was Philadelphia had the football for 35 minutes and 47 seconds, and Kansas City had the football for 24 minutes and 13 seconds. So there's your summary of your football game, and it was Kansas City 38, Philadelphia 35. So there you have it, your Super Bowl statistics, and I hope everyone learned something from it, had some fun. The exact time for kickoff was at 5:43, and for those in the music world, Rihanna performed at the halftime show. So with that being said, I hope you all have a great night. Have a good night. Peace out.